Alright, now we know the reason why King Harald went from an evil tyrant to a good guy. And in this chapter, we come to find out that the reason was the V. Yes, the V. But I mean, is it surprising? I keep telling y'all niggas, everything revolves around everything on this planet revolves around. If you look closely, you'll find out that every situation that involves human being is in one way or another related to all of the events that happen in human history, even the wars. If you look at the wars closely, you realize that is involved somewhere. All of the major geopolitical debacles in human history are somehow tied to the Trojan War was about Robert's rebellion in Game of Thrones was about I'm sure even if you look at the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, if you look at it closely, you find out that is involved somewhere, bro. Makes the world go round. The reason why people fight, the reason why people dress the way they dress, the reason why people talk the way they talk, the reason why people walk the way they walk can usually be traced down to the V or the D. But anyways, let me not get ahead of myself. One Piece chapter 1153 titled The Birth of Loki. Alternatively titled How the V Changed Harold. Alternatively titled How the Changed Harold. So at the beginning of the chapter, we witnessed the childhood of Harald, how he was going around being reckless, how he was hanging out with Dory and Broggy. And when he eventually became old enough to sail the sea, he set sail and he started touring the whole world and tearing shit up left and right. He was going from city to city, from kingdom to kingdom, from island to island, from land to land, fighting people. But because we know that the giant pirates were the strongest pirate crew at the time, obviously nobody was a match for them and they were just cakewalking through the competition. That resulted in King Harald growing tired and bored of these tiny pioneers humans. Until one day they made a stop at the Burnt Kingdom, and they realized that there was a giant lady over there who was seemingly detained, and of course they decided to free her. After freeing Ida, they realized that Ida wasn't actually detained. The inhabitants of that kingdom actually found Ida in a critical condition, and they decided to help her, and once she was healthy, they provided her with a job opportunity and took care of her. So the giant pirates and Harald came thinking that they were saving someone, but they were just actually things up. When Ida tells Harald that he messed up, she tells him to go and apologize. And of course, he's like, what the I'm King Harald, I'm the king of Hellbath. I'm not going to apologize to no tiny ass bitch ass humans. And Ida is like, yes, the you are. Those people didn't ask you for anything. They were minding their business, they were taking care of me, and you swooped in with your crew and you guys started tearing shit left and right, destroying buildings and injuring people. So you are going to get there, you are going to get on your knees, you are going to apologize, and you are going to help them fix back their country. You are not more powerful than them because you are so amazing. You are more powerful than them because you were born a giant and they were born regular humans. Your power isn't the fruit of some sort of merit. This isn't something that you have earned. This is simply something that you received at birth. It's a gift. And you better be using that gift to do the right thing. After being pressed by Ida, Harald decides to go back to the Burnt Kingdom and apologize to them. He eventually befriends humans and he learns how to live with them. He learns to see value in humans. He learns that humans are beings just like him and that he can befriend them. He can actually cultivate deep relationships with them. And that his culture is different from these people's culture. So they can actually exchange and learn from each other and grow together. Through Ida, Harald learns how to open himself to people and embrace other people, even when they are different. And when he comes back to Elbaf, he decides to reform Elbaf in that direction by teaching giants to be more open, to embrace other cultures, to embrace other humans, even when they are seemingly weak. He mentions that Dory and Broggy have always treated other humans fairly and honorably, and he was the one who was running around being reckless. Considering that they were his friends, I don't know how they didn't influence him, but whatever. He also decides to go on these trips and build diplomatic ties with other groups and other countries, and to teach giants the ways of peace and prosperity instead of teaching them the ways of war, even though, of course, they will always be warriors at heart. Harald and Ida have Hyrudin, but unfortunately, Hyrudin cannot be recognized as a prince, and Ida cannot be crowned queen because she is not of noble birth, so Hyrudin is forced to be a bastard, even though he is allowed to remain in his father's vicinity. Here we get to see that even though Harald at heart had the intention to deeply reform his land, he wasn't all powerful because there were still the powers that be, and the powers that be wanted certain things to be a certain way. Even if he intended to change Elbaf, there were certain things about Elbaf that he couldn't change. Harald is introduced to the woman who was chosen and picked to be his wife. Her name is Estrid and she looks suspicious as She's talking about taking all the gold and the jewels in the palace and sending it to her room like what type of on nigga? Harald doesn't seem particularly thrilled to marry this lady, but I guess out of respect for the tradition, he follows through with the program. A few years after that, about 70 years ago, Harald is still going on all these diplomatic trips and meeting new people and visiting new countries, and even talks about how he went to Fishman Island and he witnessed the birth of Neptune. And a few years after that, while he is still overseas, Estrid gives birth to Loki. When she gives birth to the baby, she's like, oh, let me see my baby's face. And when she looks at Loki's face, I'm not gonna lie, that baby looks evil as fuck. Now I think this is the confirmation that Loki has unusual eyes, right? It seems like Loki has some kind of Sharingan or Rikugan type of eye. And maybe that's the reason why he's able to see through walls. Because as we know now, Loki has the ability to see even with his eyes covered. And this might be the answer as to why he's able to do that. Anyways, his mother does not like him. His mother does not want him. His mother tries to kill him. Yes, you heard it. His own mother. Not being wanted by your own mother has to be one of the most traumatizing things for a child, bro. It's almost like a curse from the cradle. Like, what kind of life are you going to live at all, knowing that your mother did not want you? The person that carried you in the womb for years, the person that suffered for you, even that person does not want you. That is a setup for generational trauma, bro. Even the royal guards tried to dissuade her and to prevent her from doing it, but there was no helping it. She tried to get rid of Loki by throwing him in the realm of the dead. But I guess when it's such a time, it's such a time. And Loki is no ordinary nigga either. This motherfucker survived infanticide, like the worst type of infanticide, the one where they literally throw you in hell. Once that happened, you know Loki was built different, bro. He was built to be different. Soon after Loki escaped death, it seems like his mother fell ill and she may have passed away. She talks about how some kind of prophecy predicted that King Harald would die by the hands of his own son, and the said son would be the doom of Elbaf. On the other hand, it seems like King Harald in his diplomatic mission faced adversity at the hands of the world government. Now, why was the world government trying to hinder his attempt to build bridges with other kingdoms? I guess we'll find out at some point. We also see Hyrudin talking about how he will never acknowledge Loki as his little brother because they don't have the same mother. And of course, his mother being the lovely pie that she is like, shut the nigga, you better love him. But she says that in a nice way though. So this chapter fleshes out and provides even more context to the stories of Harald and Loki. And this leads me to ask myself again, what the hell happened that day in the throne room? What did the world government have to do with any of this? Was Loki himself aware of the Loki curse? And if he was, what did he do about it? Did he believe it? Did King Harald believe the Loki curse as well? What kind of relationship did King Harald have with his son? And again, what the happened that day in the throne room? That's pretty much all I had to say. If I have anything else to say, I'll come back online. Thank you for sticking with me till the end of the video. If you've made it this far, please leave a like, leave a comment, share. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on TikTok, follow me for more content. I will see you when I see you, but until then, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, salam, shalom, hotep, peace.